You are now tuned in to the GNWY podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the GNWY podcast. Do not forget to like, rate, review, subscribe, do all of the things so we can get people's stories and purpose out more effectively. And today we have none other than Michael Hirsch. Everybody, if you could make some noise for Michael, everybody. Yes, we're going to do your DJ drop and everything because you deserve it, man.
I've been waiting for the noise.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
here. It's going to be there.
All right.
Yes. How you doing, man?
Doing so good.
All
Great.
the way from Norman, Oklahoma. Yes.
All the way.
Yes.
37 and a half minutes. If it wasn't for the drive-through line in Chick-fil-A, I would have been on time.
Oh, okay.
Apologize.
What'd you get from Chick-fil-A?
Oh, number one, always. If
With-
it's lunch. So original,
Okay.
keep it simple, no
Yeah.
sauces. I'm the answer the question guy.
Okay.
So it kind of throws them off. So I'll jump right to it. So I'll roll down the window. Hi, I'm Mike. Got
Hi,
it.
I'm Mike.
I'm Mike. So they know my name.
Oh, they know that they don't have to ask.
And then
Okay, got
sometimes
you.
they'll ask me what my name is.
Okay. Even afterwards.
Okay. You got to try this.
Okay. I will.
Yeah. And
So run through your order for me real quick.
yeah. So
I'm Chick-fil-A. What's going on? How can I take your order? They probably don't say that, but
it's so good to see you. I'm Mike.
okay, Mike. What can I get for you today?
I would love a number one. So original chicken sandwich with a fruit cup. So I'm going to sub it out with just a water to drink, not bottled water, but just regular water from the fountain is great. And please, no sauces. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. And what's your name?
You know what? I'll get there. It is right there.
Perfect.
I'll get asked, what is
Yeah.
your name? Do you want sauces? Do you
Yeah.
want condiments? The whole deal.
Like-
and I'm like, I'm trying to save you time.
Right,
Time is
right.
money, right?
Right. And those drive-through lines are the fastest drive-through lines ever. I mean, I don't think I've been through a drive-through line with Chick-fil-A that hasn't taken more than 5 minutes. Maybe.
I think one time, 10 minutes.
One time?
One time.
You got it?
But it was like wrapped around the building 3 times. So
Well, give him a break,
I was
Taylor.
happy with it. I was happy with it.
Right.
I was happy.
That's pretty good then. Okay, so
See, here's where I caught him though. I caught him in the transition. So it's the breakfast lunch transition.
Oh,
so it
yeah,
was
yeah.
10, and I knew it.
okay, yeah.
And so thank you for
Of course.
your patience.
That's what you tell them?
No, I told you for just because I was.
Oh,
I
no,
was running late today.
I will wait on you all day, man, because you are an important person, and we are honored that you came through today. So, Michael, I think we've known each other for known of each other for probably the first event that I've ever been a part of your event. I was for one blown away, but that was probably like 8 years ago or something, 8 or 10 years ago, man. Something like that.
Anything that is pre-COVID. Feels like a decade ago if you did it.
100%. Yeah. Because I was with Marcus Jackson, and then he was performing at your Love Works event for Box City,
Right?
I believe.
That was.
Yeah. And it was actually, let me give this experience. Can I tell a little bit about this experience?
Let go for it.
I was, for one, it was freezing cold, okay? And I was upset. I was like, this is the worst night to do an overnight. And I was like, but legit, I was blown away by the meeting about it, the intentionality behind everything, all the students' involvement, your involvement, how you hosted the thing. And legit, man, it was an amazing event. And so I just want to say kudos to your event that I was first a part of.
Yeah.
And so
That was a big deal.
It
You know,
was.
something funny about that.
Yeah.
So the event is called Box City, and so the whole theme of this is becoming an overnight advocate, and we highlight different issues, causes in our community, and so this particular event really addresses homelessness.
Yeah.
And it's an outdoor event, and historically, like you just described so well, we always end up picking the coldest.
On purpose.
It ends up being that way, right? We have the date on the calendar.
It's Oklahoma. Yeah,
It's
you can't never
Oklahoma.
tell. Yeah.
I mean, it could have been that Box City where we had thunder, lightning, snow, the whole deal.
Have y'all had a night like that?
Oh, we've had a night like that.
Oh my gosh.
And but can you
All right, kids, get to work.
get to work? So we just kind of laid out the cause.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So we're advocating for homelessness.
Yep.
But you can imagine being a parent. So if there's inclement weather or cold weather, the amount of phone calls that our staff and team is fielding.
Yeah.
So I get
didn't
to the
even think
point
of
after
that,
the
yeah.
10th call, I'm just like, homeless men
Block.
and women, they don't have a choice. So your kid's
Right.
not going to have a choice tonight. So it's up to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
That's
was
amazing.
that was our first opportunity to connect. So I've always just
Yep.
admired your work, your
Appreciate it.
creativity. And then
Thank
we had
you.
the opportunity then to pick our conversation back up, a
Mm-hmm.
handful of years afterwards, and we got to work another event together.
Yeah, man, and that was through Marcus as well, and then
It was.
him doing I think it was another. Well, it wasn't Box City. What are those events called that he was a part of?
So we do summer camps.
Summer camp
Yeah,
is what
so
it is.
we had
Okay.
the summer camps.
Yeah.
And then we brought you in also for a big night that
Yep.
we had highlighting just the importance of after school programming, which
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you're a huge advocate,
Yeah.
and believer of. And so that was just before COVID. When we had you and your team out for
10
that.
years ago. Right.
feels like it, yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I think it. Okay. We're talking a lot about your events, okay? So let's say what it was and what it is and everything. And so Love Works, man. You started Love Works, right? Being a part of that. And so how long ago was that even founded and created and all that? And where did it come from?
Yeah, so had the opportunity to co-found LoveWorks
Yeah.
Leadership a little over 12 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And so we really had a vision for the org, and it was really special because I had an opportunity to really be a part of starting something
Mm-hmm.
and creating an opportunity for kids that I wish that I had when I was 8, when I was 10, when I
Yeah.
was 13 years old. And so growing up, I'm not originally from Oklahoma. I grew up in Michigan, and
What part of Michigan?
grew up near Flint.
Really?
So
Okay.
smaller. So I usually say Flint.
Okay.
Anyone that's familiar with the southeastern part of Michigan,
Yeah.
I'll tell. So Fenton, Michigan is where I'm originally.
Fenton. Wow.
Fenton.
Okay.
Yeah. And so grew up, and I did a lot of things natural and entrepreneurial as a kid, as many of us do.
Right.
But the pathway that I would say those closest to me really recognized was my prowess and my athleticism in baseball, at least at that age.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that was the pathway.
position you
that
play?
I played pitcher.
Okay. Let's go.
So whether you're right or left-handed, it doesn't matter at that young age.
Yeah.
Starts to matter
Right.
when you get a little bit older.
Yeah.
Lefty versus right, and
For
or
sure.
how hard can you throw a fastball, right?
Right. Of course.
So elementary, junior high, you can get away with, and throwing in the mid, low 80s.
Yeah.
Not so much if you have a dream to play professional baseball.
Of course.
Which I did. And so that
That's
that was the pathway. But if I would had other opportunities and outlets to pursue the things that I just did so naturally that were entrepreneurial, who
Yeah.
knows?
Right.
Where I would have ended up.
Yeah.
And so that really, though, created the burden in my heart for youth and to provide outlets and opportunities for them to be able to explore their purpose
Yeah.
and their passion. So if you're interested in sports, great, continue to play sports. But let's look at other options as well too, because at the end of the day, whether you make it to professional league or not, your median age of a professional athlete is low 30s. So what are you going to do next?
Right.
What's the plan after that? So
For sure.
wanted to create opportunities and furnish opportunities for youth to be able to explore their purpose, their passion, and really live into their potential. And so that really was what LoveWorks was all about. Is all about leading a generation of not just dreamers but doers. Hey,
there you go.
let's have ideas, let's have dreams, but let's give them opportunities to actually do it,
Yeah.
At a young age. And so I'm a big believer that you're never too young to make a difference.
That's beautiful.
A 5-year-old has the ability to influence.
Yeah.
A 3-year-old has the ability to influence.
100%. Yeah. That's amazing. And so you started that 12 years ago. Yeah.
I sure did.
And then what is the expansion of, LoveWorks look like? Like, where did y'all start? What was that transition phase? And y'all have a building now in Norman, correct?
We do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, we call it the original. Everyone has the story of
Right,
the first
right.
group of kids,
Right.
or leaders or that first job.
Yeah.
But, it was original 27.
Yeah.
In our pilot program in 2011. So we had 27 students that were a part of that program. And then we had the opportunity over a few years to then have our own space and building. The program grew. We reached in, almost 12 years, well over 14,000 students.
That's awesome.
And then created some really solid programs. And so I've had a real fortunate opportunity to be able to work with kids as young as 9 years old to help them start real businesses and real companies. But really felt, though, last year, and I think we're in the age of transition. You hear about individuals that are making a lot of transition that's happening, in the workplace. And so I felt towards the end of June of last year into July that it was time for me to begin to make a transition.
Yeah.
And
let's talk about it, man.
So
future stuff. Let's go.
It is future stuff.
Yeah.
And so, part of this transition, was really feeling that I wanted to create something that had an opportunity to impact our state, of course, the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I really believe we have that opportunity that with the types of partnerships and other organizations we can collaborate, that Oklahoma has a chance to really model the way.
Man,
but,
for real.
But we want to influence the world. And so that's what this new effort, this new venture is really focused on. It's called Kidvation Global.
Whoa.
So Kidvation, so it's a play off of the word innovation.
Innovation, yeah.
Yeah, so I have 2 other co-founders that are part of this and just a host of just great partnerships in the local community. So we're really excited about the early traction that we've had so far with Kidvation.
So what's the mission behind all that?
Yeah, the whole idea is that we want to empower the imagination of youth and to be able to use it for good. That's the big idea. We believe that youth in particular have a superpower, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah.
You and I have one. We just don't necessarily perhaps use it as much as we did when we were a kid.
Yeah.
And it's our imagination. And so it was Margaret Mead, I believe, who said, the big idea and the need of the hour is not to teach kids what to think, but to teach them how to think. And so what we've done is we've created a curriculum called Applied Imagination. And so the idea is to be able to teach kids how to think innovatively.
That's dope.
And to be able to use what they're learning, what's being developed, and to be able to use that for good. And so we've created various pathways that they have the opportunity to do that. So it ranges from entrepreneurship to social activism and impact, R&D, research and development, and then global collaboration as well.
That's dope. Wow. Yeah. So, there's a lot of different questions I got now. That's beautiful. So I even think because I've been reading up about how the brain is developed and everything, and so and I feel like what do you? Let me ask you first because you're the expert right here.
But you're the one that's studying. So
well, I mean that's good. I'm in the learning. So whenever the kid or the child their imagination is so going crazy, right? And being able to think of random stuff, but obviously not know how to verbalize it or anything like this, and then also creating practical ways of bringing your imagination or idea to life. What do you think takes us from children to taking that imagination away? What is it? What do you feel like that is?
Criticism, doubters, words, our own thoughts.
Yeah.
Really the primary, and I say that, and there's evidence that can support that, but then just looking, at my early childhood and pathway.
Yeah.
Fear of failure, is another one I believe that begins to creep in. You think about it when you're young. I mean, even my kids, I have 3 kids, ages 6, 8, and 10, and they're not afraid to do anything. They have an idea, they want to explore it. They're not at a stage of their life right now that they're thinking about the reasons why something's not going to work. So in other words, if they have an idea to do something, they're not thinking that finances are going to limit them, that geography is going to limit them.
Yeah.
And no, those are all real factors. Don't get me wrong. So we need money to do things.
Yeah.
We need people to do things. But that's not necessarily how kids naturally think. And so that wiring begins to take place. That hard wiring slowly creeps in, as we get older. There's a fascinating study that took place in the 1960s. And that was the year that we had the big audacious vision, to be the first to get to the moon. And so there was a test that a psychologist conducted as part of with NASA, and it was a creative thinking test.
Okay.
To gauge the genius, the imaginative genius in people. But they started with kids. And so the test group is about 1,600 kids that they tested at the age of 5. Jordan, this group of 1,600 scored 98% at age 5. Okay?
That's insane.
A creative genius.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a guess at what the same group of kids, now young adults, at age 15 scored on the same test?
50? I don't know.
12%.
12?
That's wild.
Age 30, 2%.
Wow.
So, Kidvations Global's mission is to come around kids right now when they are young. You know, they're never going to be this young again.
Yeah.
And so it's an opportunity for us with our curriculum, with great people to come around these kids, you know, teach them, you know, that the ideas that they have, whether they realize it or not, they're actually currency. Ideas are currency. And so whether you do something with an idea now, or we teach students not to throw away a good idea. If it's not now, let's put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to go back and pick up that idea and potentially do something with it.
Right.
You know, how many artists have had ideas for songs?
Got way too many, yeah.
And got started and maybe set it on a shelf and then
Brought it
picked
back.
it and brought it back. So that's the idea.
Do you think that there's a parallel between imagination and innocence?
Oh, I do.
So initially, you're trying to help protect both.
It is.
That's dope.
Yeah, and let's protect it as long as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And then if we can jet start them. So part of what we do, we teach them that ideas are currency. We also talk with them about the repeatable behaviors of successful people. So in other words, you, Jordan, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, Tim Cook, have a set of...
I appreciate you putting me in the pool of those. That means a lot.
Just short of putting like LeBron James, out there in that category.
Honestly, yes.
But have a set of repeatable behaviors.
Right.
So over the course that we get the course of time that we get to work with students, we'll introduce them, through stories. Whether it's stories that we tell, or it's bringing or doing it virtually. So they get a chance to be able to see firsthand.
That's dope.
So when I say repeatable behaviors, there's habits. So now
disciplines.
Exactly. So these kids that are excited, like you said, they're firing on all cylinders. They have all these ideas. Now you've got someone that, here's an idea. So if I hear a student with an idea and they say, well, what if, what if, we could do this, or what if we can do that? And we're the why not people. Well, why not?
Yeah.
Let's go there and let's explore it and let's see what we can do. And so can you imagine, when I think of identity, what kind of value and impression and then confidence that instills in young kids. So whether they do it or not, but it's something that they could take with them the rest of their lives.
Definitely.
So let's get them jet started now. Let's launch them, into this trajectory now, and let's see them make a real life impact.
Yeah, man. I that's beautiful, dude. I mean, even whenever, we started Generation Y during 2017, that was all because we seen so many students, because we went from 32nd to the third leading state in the nation for teen suicide. And so my thing was like, just thinking about the direction of where we're trying to go to fulfill a need, it was like, the purpose, the identity, the value that these students are having are lacking 100%. Right. And so where is that coming from? Obviously, social media ramped up like, 200%. And then, thinking about, the parents' household, all this kind of stuff. These kids are getting bullied at school, getting bullied at home. All this, the value of their life is dwindling down. The identity is coming down. And like you're saying, with this whole innocence, imagination, and then protecting all of that is just like, my heart behind all of this, man. I don't want to get crazy. The heart behind this thing is like, I get so irritated whenever I see somebody, some students, some individuals' innocence, value, identity taken away.
Right.
And that's all
Yeah.
because of what you're saying of somebody doubting,
Mm-hmm.
somebody trying to overpower, somebody trying to manipulate, somebody trying to, you know what I'm saying? It's a sense of I'm trying to control the trajectory of this person. And it's like you have no right to do that.
Right.
You know? And it's like if this person comes into this world, little or old or whatever, you have no right to take that thing away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody like that is even listening to this, if anybody has, you know, had that stripped away from you, I'm sorry, and we can regain and go back to the basic. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the going back to the basic thing is so important. And I love what you're doing, man, for real.
I appreciate it.
And go ahead.
Can I touch on that?
Yeah.
And just say to whoever's listening also too that it's never too late.
Mm.
Because I don't want anybody to be discouraged to think to themselves, because I like to say it's never too early, but also too it's never too late.
That's good.
And there's a lot of evidence out there, you know, regardless of age.
Mm.
Like today could be your day. Like this could be your moment to go back. And I've had a chance to and we may touch on this or not in our conversation, but I've had a chance to live that out, to really rediscover a childhood dream that I had that I'd forgotten about for a couple of decades, Jordan.
Really? Okay.
So I'm living proof that it is never too late to get started. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know, we just read some research. I shared about that study in the 1960s, Gallup organization out of Nebraska.
The bunch of horses?
A bunch of horses. We're got strengths-based leadership.
Yeah. Okay.
So they run a particular study every single year, and this survey goes out to working American adults, and the survey says that 66%. So this is in 2022. 66% of working American adults feel unenergized and not fulfilled in the workplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Huge.
So imagine that feeling of discontentment, not feeling fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest with you, I can't imagine what it would feel like not to feel energized doing what I do, and then how that transfers and carries over to every aspect of your life.
Right, 100%.
Friendships, your spouse if you have one,
Yep.
your kids,
Yep.
X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this is a big deal.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so it's never too late.
Yeah, definitely. You say what was that a study or something? What was it called? Gallup?
It was, Gallup organization,
And
out of Nebraska. So they're
2022.
They're pretty known for their strengths-based leadership. So have you ever heard of like Strength Finders?
Oh yeah,
which
yeah,
is
okay.
a great assessment. So that's part of their work.
Man, I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I've been in job, and I think like me and Taylor have talked about this a little bit too. Like just being an entrepreneur, having that type of mindset. For one, there's a give and take to both sides, right? To being an entrepreneur of like. Not everybody's meant to be one. You know, a lot of people want to be one, but they do not have the, you know, the drive or the, you know, I don't know, the mental capacity to even be one properly and successfully, right? But like even on the other side of entrepreneurship, man, what was we were talking about the how we even operate as an entrepreneur, right? Of like, he's got multiple businesses, right? Yeah. Go ahead and tell them how many you got again.
Right now we're at 5. Yeah.
Wow.
And he had a goal for what? How many before you?
5 by 25. Yeah.
5 by 25. Wild.
So does Taylor live like 8 days a week? How many days a week does he have?
Why
don't I have the 8th day?
I'm actually starting a petition for 36-hour days instead of 24. I just need a few more
signatures.
Yeah.
Excellent. You got 2 right
I
here.
need a few more hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then so that's what we were talking about is the because you were talking about the workplace and everything. I couldn't imagine even whenever I was working, you know, an actual real job or whatever. It was like I was constantly even during that time thinking of what job and or organization that I wanted to create, right?
Yeah, right.
And doing GNWY, all this kind of stuff. And so but I cannot imagine, you know, how much percentage did you say?
66%
is it unfulfilled
by
the workplace.
Yeah, and the part of that too that I think is important is they don't feel like they're making an actual contribution.
No impact.
I mean, so imagine that could range from 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week. Then that math adds up over the course of a year, over the course of years.
So then they low key feel like, they feel like they're low key wasting time, initially. And it's like, I could not imagine not doing Generation Y or not doing something that is meaningful, fulfilling, and everything, and getting more people on board with the mission. And it's like, this is dope. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What you're doing is dope. Making a difference is dope. But like, you know, I could not imagine not doing that. Right. Because like I felt depleted as well. Like you're saying with the statistic. Oh yeah. You know, I felt like, okay, we're just, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like there's no point. And so, anyway, so you were about to finish a point though, so go ahead. Sorry.
No, you made a great, you made a great point. I think the only thing I was gonna say that you made me think about too, when you were talking about, and even anyone that's listening might think, well, you know, you've talked some about like being in entrepreneurship, but it's not just about entrepreneurship. It's just about the way you think. And really, it's just your thinking. And so with students, part of Kidvation Global, we talk a lot about, you know, the growth mindset. Like we want to be in a growth mindset. Yeah. So in other words, when I walked into the studio today, like my eyes and ears were open. This is a growth mindset moment for me. Yes, I hope that I can contribute. I hope that I can add something good can come out of my mouth that can encourage those that are listening or those that are watching. But this is a growth opportunity for me. And so it's about mindset. It's not just about being an entrepreneur and starting a business, but it's having an entrepreneur's mindset, an innovator's mindset. Yeah. And anybody can do that. So you don't have to own a business. Yeah. You know, but you can be working at an accounting firm, and with just a shift in your mindset, you know, you can see that shift. And I believe with that shift, you can begin to find new joy in the work that you're doing. So whether it's working, you know, you think you're working with numbers, or whether it's working that that Chick-fil-A drive-through like we were talking about earlier. Oh man, they have a different level of joy, and I appreciate that. I was with my friend most of the time. Right. I give it up to the guy that was ordering through the drive-through. But I was sitting there, and then my friend Stuart, he was right next to me. He was ordering, right? And he was ordering across from me, okay? And I was making fun of him for what he's ordering, okay? I'm like, oh, you need all that? You know, that type of thing. We were just joking, okay? Obviously. We know each other. This young man does not know us, right? And he was like, hey, man, you need to chill out. And I was like, man, I give it up for you, because that was some brave stuff, you know? Because he was taking up for my friend, and even though I was not. So you need to have like some Chick-fil-A sponsorship here, right? Bro, so, come on. I'm telling you. I am telling you. Our team says that every time, because I try to go to Chick-fil-A every time that we go somewhere. Okay. And there's one guy on our team, Jaden, he hates it. He's like, Chick-fil-A again? You know? And you know that just to spite you, Of course. It's can't be true. Right. Well, I don't know. Maybe. So I'll be in Atlanta soon, so I'll put in the word. You're gonna be where? I'm gonna be in Atlanta, so I'll put in the word. Headquarters to Chick-fil-A. Yeah, so we're gonna have some meetings. I didn't know that's where it was. It is. It's in Atlanta. Gotta go. The original Chick-fil-A is there at the Dwarf House. Okay. So they have two doors, like regular door that you can walk in, or you can crouch down. You can go through the Dwarf door. It's kind of cool. I did not know that's a thing. Yeah. Did you know that was a thing? I did. Yeah. Wow. Okay. There we need to go. Yeah. That'd be awesome. When are you going? Going next month. Okay. So we'll be there in May. And so again, having some just strategic conversations, you know, about just the applied imagination, the curriculum, and our at the end of the day, we want to get this into the hands in as many schools and kids around the world, you know, that we possibly can. Well, we'll have to make a collab or something, man. Absolutely. We're in the schools too. So yeah, no question. Let's do something. Love it. So anyway, we're definitely onto something, man. You said, for everybody that's just tuning in, right, and learning about Michael, Kidvation. Okay. And how many your trajectory is to be global, right? That's right. And so, are you looking to do, you know, bilingual type stuff, or like, is this going into different, you know, obviously countries and everything? Like, how are you what's your trajectory for that? Well, I love it. So if you have any listeners that are in Mumbai or in Pakistan, we are coming your way. Oh, wow. Believe it or not, so we just got back from a trip from Sri Lanka. Okay. We were in India. We were just in Lahore, Pakistan. We have a trip coming up in June to Uganda.
Yeah.
We're having some conversations with another organization in Tel Aviv in Israel.
Yeah.
So
that's dope.
To answer your first question, bilingual eventually,
Yeah.
for sure. So we're in all English speaking schools right now, but that will definitely be the
You're already
plan.
in them?
We already are. So we've piloted in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And so we're really gearing up for a big launch nationally in August, so back to school, and then internationally, their calendar runs a little bit different, and so October, November will be our big.
What made you want to go there first?
Launch, serendipitous, just moments and opportunities, that have just really just come our way.
Yeah.
Just the power, of course, of just relationships.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned earlier, those that may have just joined in, our pathways, and so we have 4 of them that young kids have the opportunity to explore. So it could be entrepreneurship and innovation. It could be social activism, the R&D. The 4th pathway is global collaboration. So can you imagine a 10-year-old youth from, let's just say, Millwood Middle School, on a call who's part of a cohort with kids from Israel and from India and then from Africa. And they're working through the applied imagination curriculum like we talked about. And then they'll have an opportunity to walk through the pathways and then pick a real world problem that they'll have a chance to solve together.
That's dope.
So that's the idea with the international and with the global piece.
That's amazing. So you're legit connecting cultures all over. That's amazing.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's so
dope.
being set in motion as we speak.
Wow. That's amazing, dude. Okay. Wow. I didn't know you're already doing that.
Already doing it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're already 10 steps ahead of what I'm thinking. So that's super dope.
You're a big thinker. I don't know if we're quite there, but we're taking it one step at a time. But we've been able to identify just some really great partners. That's the key to it, and just to make it work takes it sounds like the cheesy Success Reads quote, but it takes a team to make the dream work.
Yeah.
And so we've identified some great partners in each of those respective countries that will really be our feet on the ground.
Who's the point of contact? Is that just like another curriculum person out there, or is it like somebody just a friend of a friend or whatever? Is like how do you even go about that?
Yeah, so it ranges from, on one end we have a tech startup company. They have actually two tech companies, but they've also created an app that the federal government in India uses and is integrated into schools already.
Okay.
So they already have that thread of connection in schools.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, we have an organization kind of like ours, kind of like Kidvation Global, but it's more or less an accelerator and an incubator for young professionals. And so this was just a real natural fit for them. And so very like-minded and very like-passioned. And so this was just adding kind of like a piece of pipe, to that entrepreneurial pipeline, that innovation pipeline for them.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Appreciate that.
That's crazy. And you have how many people on your team right now?
We have 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and they're all from here, or where are they from?
Currently, right now, all from Oklahoma.
Currently,
looking
You're
to grow
send
the
them
team.
Off. We'll see you later.
That's it.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude. Okay, wow. Okay, man, I've got now I'm mind blown. So, okay, and then your trajectory is to obviously be global, and then what is the purpose from there? Just getting these students, collaborating, connecting with themselves, creating businesses, or like. What is after? Even do you have a follow up to once they create a world solving problem, business, whatever? Like what do you do from there?
It's like you've read this business plan that we still need to write before this conversation.
Because I'm interested, bro, in this whole thing, man. Because I love it. I love what y'all are doing. Because once you get these students collaborating on an issue, let's say they create somewhat of a problem solver. Where do we go from here? Yeah. You create a business for it. You create a curriculum for it. You create, what's after there?
Letter E.
E.
All the above.
Okay.
Usually it's letter D, but I thought I'd add.
I thought it was F. Is it? Yeah, something. Yeah.
But this is where it gets really fun.
Okay.
So we've got the applied imagination curriculum. You've already touched on the aspect of state, national, and global. When students work through, and the duration can change, and we can customize the experience. And so we have a school right now that it's going to be a semester long. So there'll be 18 weeks of Kidvation curriculum. There's other schools that may do 6 or 8. There could be summer camps. but we're in the process right now under development, and we'll launch in August. But it's going to be an e-commerce website for kids.
Okay. That's dope.
And it's called the Marketplace of Ideas.
Marketplace. I like it.
So the Marketplace of Ideas will have represented all three of the, well, there's four, but the three pathways. So R&D, social activism, and then entrepreneurship, which will be an opportunity to display a service-based business or a product-based business.
I like that.
So imagine you visit, Kidvation Global / Marketplace.
Yeah.
And you'll have the opportunity to not just shop, but to invest money.
I was about to say you can have investors too.
In the next generation. So
That's
if you
dope.
see a particular cause that resonates with your heart, your passion, you can support, you can give to that particular cause. If you see something on R&D, it's an idea that's a little out there, beyond the horizon, but they're going to need some crowdsourcing. You're going to have an opportunity to support that campaign. You want to add some candles?
That's dope.
To your shopping cart, you're going to be able to do that.
You're going to have Taylor Moore on there buying up all pooper scooper businesses. He already said it earlier. He's like, I don't care buying up some 10.
And based on our conversation, we might have a couple of them that are out there.
That's true. That's true.
I can't wait to see these logos.
Just imagine Scoops being over in Israel or something. Wouldn't that be crazy?
We on it.
That'd be dope. What if you sold part ownership of Scoop to a 10-year-old? Creating
Money's
businesses
right.
over there.
Who I sell to.
That's dope. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
But that's amazing, man. I mean, you're talking about things that are underdeveloped or in development and everything like that. Like we're currently on our curriculum right now too, and so this would be obviously some dope conversation off camera too about curriculum, because that's what we're doing right now. And so we got out of the philanthropy week that we got chosen for, and we're still in development of our curriculum for schools nationwide, right? And so man, it'd be dope for conversation and collab for even what we're doing and everything you're doing too. And so I feel like y'all are on the route of curating, a student's obviously idea, innovation, everything like that. But obviously we're on the inspiration, so it's another I. So let's think about this.
I like that.
We're on the inspiration side of everything to get curated for where you're at.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And so
they both work hand in hand.
Exactly. So y'all are on the imagination and innovation.
And I would argue and say I don't think you can have one without the other. Truly, I think if you're talking like a holistic approach.
Right. For sure.
And really truly equipping youth, for the future, and really giving them real life skills that they're going to be able to apply and use.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's dope.
No, I love it.
We've been talking about needing to talk.
Hey, where's that MOU? Does Taylor have an MOU drawn up?
You got a MOU? You got a IOU? Something with the U.
We are nonprofits. We all need some money, right?
Exactly.
So if he wants to cut that check.
Exactly. Anybody out there? But yeah, man, I really I'm inspired by what you do too. So
I appreciate that.
Ever since been in overnight box outside freezing,
not liking me on your drive down to Norman. I get it.
I didn't know what I was getting into, man. Right. On the way back, I was like, man, no, I'm playing. No, it was beautiful, man. From that to even what you're doing now, I truly, I'm inspired. I love what y'all are doing. And if y'all ever need anything or want anything, with Generation Y or anything, even personally, you know what I'm saying? We'll offer Taylor up too, so play. But
the best of the best coming our way.
Yes, sir.
I mentioned earlier our team is growing, so
there you go.
Put that caveat
if you
out
need
there.
a tech side, we're all here.
I love it.
Content creating is all we do. So, but for real, I love what you're doing, man. If you want to tell this camera anything, for one, where they can follow you at, where they can follow Kidvation. Where they do y'all have like a social media already for Kidvation?
We sure do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. And then something that you can inspire some people with, if you can, on this camera, that'd be dope.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can check us out in the usual suspects right now, but at Facebook and on LinkedIn, and then you can find us on the web at kidvationglobal.com. And my last thought that I would just close out with, if you just happen to be just tuning in right now at the very end of this conversation, I do that occasionally on podcasts. I kind of like move that dot to the very end. Just want to encourage you about just your purpose and your passion. And I'm the biggest believer in you and who you are. If you are alive today, oxygen in your lungs, it is never too late today, regardless of where you find yourself at, to make a difference and to be able to make an impact. And so if there's any way that I could be a personal service to you, through our website, you can have access to me, schedule a call. Would love to have a conversation with you to learn more about just where you happen to be at, or to share more with you about Convation Global.
That was a commercial, dude.
Come on.
That's what's up, man.
Right.
I love it. I love it. And you already said where they could follow you personally at, right? Michael Hirsch, right?
I did not say that, but
come on, man.
But through the website.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can hit me up by email, schedule a Calendly call. Love to have a virtual time with you, get a chance to see your face, know where you're from. And so, yeah, that's the best way to find me.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate your time. Super honored. If you can, one more time, do not forget to like, rate, review, subscribe, do all of the things so we can get Michael's story out more effectively and everything that he's doing. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.